Well, multiple cases of the avian influenza virus have been found here in Idaho, and the virus is highly contagious and often deadly for birds. And while it's not common for humans to be infected, experts are advising people with pet birds or livestock to track their animals' health. Our Tristan Lewis now joins us. And Tristan, economists say this flu could have an impact on the price of eggs.
Yeah, Shira, back in 2015, a bird flu outbreak killed more than 50 million birds in the U.S., according to the CDC. And that drove up prices for eggs and chicken, according to an agriculture economist at the University of Idaho. Right now, more than 27 million birds have been infected with the virus. While egg prices and livestock eventually return to normal back then, experts don't have a timeline when the virus will end for it to do so. The Idaho State Department of Agriculture is putting out a warning to poultry farmers. A highly contagious bird flu is now in the gem state.
Avian influenza is a respiratory virus that's carried by migratory birds.
ISDA state veterinarian Dr. Scott Leibsle says the flu has already killed 2 separate chicken flocks in Idaho. He says there are very little symptoms associated with the avian flu, besides death.
Because it's carried by migratory waterfowl, they don't necessarily show any symptoms, and you can't tell if they're sick, but they could certainly pass the virus on to your domestic birds.
Agriculture economist Hernan Tejeda says this news adds more problems to already higher than normal egg prices because of inflation.
The average prices last year, national level, were at $1.60. At the beginning of the month, they were already $2.50. This is at the retail level.
Fresh produce farmer Jordan Risch is one of many dealing with supply chain related issues.
Because of the cost of food and the cost of fuel and everything, of course, our overhead goes up and we need to adjust our prices accordingly.
Risch owns Jordan's Garden Center and Seasonal Market in Boise, where he sells farm fresh eggs. He says the avian flu is nothing new, but when the new strains are detected, he tries to stay ahead of it.
You want to make sure that your sanitary conditions are at the top of your priority.
He owns about 25 chickens and expects to get a new flock in next week, which he plans to quarantine.
Keep them away from your herd or your flock for a few weeks until you're sure that they're healthy and they're not contagious before you mix them in.
While he doesn't see the flu impacting his flock or prices, he believes prevention and safety measures are still key.
They look to us to take care of them.
And Leibsle adds it's important to keep any free-ranging birds confined because it decreases their likeliness of interacting with wild birds that may have that flu. And while it's still too early to tell when egg prices may return to normal, Tejeda says his piece of advice for those looking to save money on eggs is wait until they're at sale price. Eggs have a certain shelf life, and stores will occasionally bring down that retail price. Shira?
All right, lots of good advice there. Thanks, Tristan.